All right, what's up, everybody? My name is Sam Carrico, and I just saw Creed. He saw it a couple weeks ago, and so it's been out for a few weeks at this point too. So we're not gonna hold back with spoilers on this review. We're just gonna talk about it as if you saw it with us. So without further ado, let's get into it. So, what are some things that you really enjoyed about Creed?
The characters. I really enjoyed the characters and the acting, specifically of Michael B. Jordan and Sylvester Stallone. Apparently, he can still act after all these
What
years.
a great job that
Right?
old Sly Stallone did in this movie. I knew, I saw in the trailer how the whole Rocky's sick. Like, oh no, we gotta have something for him to do. It's kind of like, is it gonna come off as forced? It didn't. Not at
Yeah.
all. I felt so bad for this guy. Just let me, when this scene where he's starting to throw up, he's like falling down. And Michael Jordan just doesn't even know what's happening. He's like, "What's
Yeah.
happening? Are you okay?" And Sly's like, "I'm sorry, I'm sorry." He's like, "Why are you?" It's like I got kind of teary. I was like, "Dang, that's really powerful." Just because of you kind of get in that moment what it means to him to pass it on, because he knew his father. And but then again, I'm not really a big fan of the Rocky franchise up until this point, so that's why it kind of surprised me how much I enjoyed it. So you being a fan of the Rocky franchise up until this point, you are a fan, right?
I'm a fan.
So what do you think? Did this live up to what you had previously seen?
Well, I mean, it's been a long time. Either way, it's been a long time since I saw either the Rocky, the previous ones. But it really does. I think I talked about this before with my brother, but in this movie, Michael B. Jordan's playing Adonis Creed, who's trying to break away from the Creed name while at the same time still kind of paying respect to Creed. And I think that's what this movie's trying to do. It's its own beast. It's going its own way while still honoring Rocky, the Rocky franchise. And I really enjoyed it. I think it was done in a very interesting way, not using Rocky as the main character or doing something stupid like Rocky's son. Like, that seems too obvious.
Yeah.
It's his best friend's son. His bastard son,
and
actually.
it adds a different level to this. If it would have been just Rocky's son, and that's very straightforward. Where's any drama with that? The way that they're able to incorporate the what's happened before with Apollo Creed, and now his son Adonis, and he comes in and he talks it, and they just the way that they're able to talk to each other, it in reference what's come before, and hey, who won that third fight? It's kind of a secret. I got that. Because that's the reference in the movie where they freeze frame fighting, right?
Yeah.
Pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, I get that. Thank you, Family Guy. I'm a cultured film critic. Anyways, back to Creed. One thing I did like about this, I mentioned that they're able to have a relationship between Adonis and Rocky that felt natural. A lot of things that felt natural in this film too were the dialogue. Did you ever find yourself thinking about that? Like, this is really kind of how people talk, which is not something that you find yourself saying whenever it's a movie script. You have movies like The Avengers Age of Ultron where it's like, are there going to be any more? You just had to ask, didn't you? Silly lines like that. Or
no one says that.
Is she with you? I thought she was with you.
Oh my god.
I love Batman vs. Superman, spoilers. No, but anyways, this film felt very realistic in the way that they were able to portray these characters and interact with each other. So did you kind of agree with that? And what are some other things that maybe you liked about the script and the story?
Yeah, definitely, I agree with that. I really like the female.
Here's musician
Bianca.
Yes, her name was Bianca.
Bianca.
In the film.
Yeah. Okay, I really like her character, and that when they first introduced her, I was a bit skeptical. I was like, oh, it's gonna be a shoehorned in
forced love
interest.
story. Yeah.
And then we actually start to see their chemistry and her own development, and she was explaining the struggle that she's going through. She has that progressive hearing loss, and you're like, oh wow, that's actually really sad.
And it plays in well with kind of I keep saying Michael B. Jordan, but Adonis's storyline of how this is something that killed his father. Okay, he didn't hurt his father; it killed him, and it's his passion though. So is this going to be the thing that's killing him? Is it the thing? It's the way that they were able to play, and they related to each other in the way that didn't feel forced. It didn't feel. It didn't make me roll my eyes. Didn't make me cringe. I really enjoyed it, and I was really afraid of that too. Whenever they introduced that storyline, it's like, oh well, you gotta cross off love interest, on your little checklist of things to do in a blockbuster, but.
Right. But it was done well.
Oh, it was done very well. Another thing that was done very well is after Rocky gets sick and gets cancer, the way that not only they just treat Rocky's reaction to it, but the way that Adonis reacts to it. They have their almost falling out in a sense. It doesn't last long. It's not a pivotal part of the story, but how they're, he's like, he kind of despises Rocky for a second there in the movie.
Yeah, he says, you got to fight or else I'm not going to fight.
Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, I love that part.
Yeah.
But it felt so natural the way, whenever it's like they're having their arguments, I didn't feel like they just had to, again, off their checklist, all right, Adonis and Rocky have falling out, check, it flowed naturally. Right. And then whenever we get to the end where he's on the ground there about to, you think he's going to get knocked out, or you think he's knocked out. He's having all these flashbacks, and you realize, oh my gosh, I didn't even notice it, but I've been going on this journey with this guy this whole time, and now, he's different. All these characters are different now, and it's another great thing about cinema that you're able to do that. I feel like I really enjoyed that aspect of it. This is a great film.
Yeah, it is. Another thing that I really appreciate about this movie is that Rocky did get cancer. And like you said, it was gonna be one of those, he gets sick and it's gotta be all dramatic, cliche.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't focus on him getting cancer. It didn't treat it like this whole big dilemma. Rocky is still Rocky. He's still himself. He gets cancer and he's like, well,
whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
And of course that pisses Adonis off. But Rocky, this is Adonis's journey. This is his struggle. Rocky's doing his own thing right now. I think it wasn't even resolved. His cancer wasn't resolved at the end.
They never said, hey. Then I was still, yeah, you're right. I was waiting on a scene where it's like, hey, congrats, you're in remission or something like that. And
yeah.
I think the ending to his storyline was just making it up those steps.
Yeah.
And that's pretty beautiful in itself. I really enjoyed that, the way that it plays in the way the script felt very real in a sense too. Because oftentimes, you don't know how Rocky's story is going to play out. Who knows if this will even get a sequel or any sort of follow up in this universe? So for all we know, Rocky dies from cancer.
Right.
But he fought until the end, and that's even that message is beautiful, I think. And there was another thing I was going to say, but I can't remember what it was just yet. So I'm sure we'll come back to it. Are there anything really that you think this film could have improved on, that you would have liked to have seen, or do you think it's just because I honestly. I think I'm looking at top 5 of the year right now for me. I don't know about you.
I have no complaints.
I really don't.
I really enjoyed this movie. I was telling my brother that it capitalized on Thanksgiving. There is this family aspect to it, and you definitely feel that there's at first they're strangers. Rocky and Adonis, could be even possibly enemies, but they come together, and with Bianca too, they just make this family, and it makes you feel like you should appreciate the people around you more.
Oh yes.
Not to sound cliche, but it's true.
But it did kind of have that message with it in a way that didn't beat you over the head with anything about because they talk about Adonis lost his father or he never knew his father, but he never had a father, and then he has Rocky for a while there, and then it looks like he may not even have Rocky. So it really shows, and then Bianca along the way and all that. Like you said, it just shows that don't take what you have for granted, I guess.
Yeah.
And one thing, I guess, I can't really think of any complaints myself. Nothing big that would make the film. I don't know if this would make the film any better or not. I did find the British opponent a little annoying. Kind of a little stereotypical. I don't know if is he supposed to be a real guy or based on a real guy or just completely made for the film. That was a little weird because it's like, oh, he's about to go to jail, and it's like. Yeah, he's just a stereotypical British bad guy, and his accent was just, I know it's probably real, but God, it was so hard to understand that guy most of the time.
I really liked how it ended though with
yes,
Adonis.
You're right.
Adonis didn't win, but in the same way he did win. He won the respect. He went the whole 12 rounds with this guy.
Oh yeah, and I know more than anyone else was able to. I feel like with this guy at this point, and it's more of a journey within himself.
He finally made his own name. He's out of his father's shadow. He's his own man now. And
what a great metaphor for this film. Like you kind of hinted at a little bit earlier. This film isn't called Rocky number whatever. This is called Creed. And in the film he's Donnie Johnson, and he's not Adonis Creed yet. So it's very much trying to stand on its own 2 feet, and it does a remarkable job, just like Michael B. Jordan. And he got swole for this movie. He got huge. I haven't seen. How would this? They're very different films, but just as far as boxing movies in
Southpaw?
2015, yeah, Southpaw. How does it stack up against Southpaw? Because that was a little bit more mixed.
This is a better film than Southpaw. Southpaw had some really great. I think if anything, Southpaw is just to watch Jake Gyllenhaal, his transformation. He's a method actor. He took it to a whole nother level.
It's a good acting vehicle for him.
Yeah,
you're saying, yeah.
It's great. It's very well done. I don't think there are any faults with Southpaw. I think it lacked the heart and drive that Creed did, have, and Creed also has more of that legacy to go off of.
You're right.
Which gave it a boost. I feel like maybe they were too close together. I don't know. But Southpaw's great.
Yeah, not a knock against Southpaw. It's just I was just curious because I haven't seen Southpaw, and so you're saying Southpaw's a great acting vehicle for Jake Gyllenhaal nonetheless, and a good film in its own right. Which as far as acting vehicles, could you see any nominations out of this cast for the Oscar season?
Definitely. I think if Michael B. Jordan doesn't get nominated for Best Actor, then I think Sylvester Stallone should for Best Supporting Actor. He did give a very standout performance,
Oh, he did.
He didn't steal the show, as you had a complaint with the fighter, Christian Bale. He
did steal the show, yeah. It felt like, very much his film.
I feel like they could have gone that way with giving Sylvester Stallone, a lot more to do.
Thought it would be so cheesy. I'm like, oh no, they're not gonna have. This was before I saw the film. I'm like, they're not gonna have this annoying thing like Donnie gets knocked out and then Rocky has to go back in the ring one more time. Like,
that would have been great.
No, I very much went with.
He would have stepped in the ring and he fell down in the ring when he was practicing.
Yeah, and then and that was pretty sad too. I guess that's what I was gonna mention earlier. Whenever Rocky gets sick, they have that. I didn't notice it, but whenever they're bonding together and they're both hitting the little thing that bounces. I'm not a boxer, so the little brrr thing. And then there's a scene later on when Rocky's sick and he's in the hospital and Creed's doing it by himself and he looks just kind of. I don't know if he even just looks over or just it's just the way that the camera's the same shot, but without Rocky, it's very powerful and it's like, oh no, I don't want Rocky to die. And it's one of these things. I'm not even a fan of these movies, so it's kind of. I guess I shouldn't say that anymore because I am now because I really enjoy Creed, but I'm not a boxing guy, I'm not a Rocky guy, and this just is a great film regardless, and I've been told, you don't have to watch the previous films to really appreciate this, and I truly think that's the truth because I really enjoyed it. Do you think that, would you recommend maybe someone else, like someone else is saying, hey, I'm going to go see Creed, would you tell them watch a couple Rocky films first, or just say have fun with it, and then maybe?
I'd say have fun with it, and then this film is almost like it could be like its own like original film, and then the Rocky movies could even just be like prequels, because the history. In this movie, you understand Rocky's legacy. You understand he was a great fighter. You understand Adonis was a great fighter. Not Adonis, Apollo.
Yes.
And then you get some of the relationships that Rocky had before with his wife Adrian's brother, at the cemetery. He was talking a very sad scene.
That was a very sad scene, and I like being new to the franchise, I'm not quite sure that I understood the importance of that, but I definitely what it meant to his character, I really felt.
Yeah. So, you definitely don't need to watch them. It will probably enhance your experience, be able to catch more. But this is definitely, watch it either way. It doesn't matter if you've seen one Rocky movie, none, or all of them. Watch it.
So before we kind of just give our final, our final impressions of the film and our score, what would you give this out of 10?
8.5.
8.5. I would probably give it a 9, which is, I think, there's not many films where I can say this is like 90% sure this is going to be nominated for X award, but pretty sure. I want to say that Sylvester Stallone's I'm 90% sure he's going to get Best Supporting Actor. At least a nomination. Him and then Jeff Daniels for Steve Jobs. I think both are Jeff Daniels for Steve Jobs. I love that. But two actors that really had standout performances this year that I left that film saying I hope that he gets nominated. As far as this film being nominated for Best Picture, I've heard a lot of people talk about that. That's a difficult.
Charlize Theron for Fury Road.
For Fury Road for Best Supporting Actress? That'd be great as well. Man, she stole the show in that film.
She really did.
But no, as far as this being nominated for could you see it nominated for Best Picture maybe? That's gonna be a tough race, but I mean, like I said, I could see Steve Jobs getting nominated for Best Picture, and I thought that was like an 8.5. So I think that this one is even better than that. Anyways, I think for my final review, or my final score rather, for this film, I'd probably give it a 9, and I think it's better than Steve Jobs. It's better than I gave something else an 8.5 recently. I'm not sure what. But this is right up there with the likes of The Martian. I thought The Martian was a great film. It's one of my favorites of this year, for sure. So do you have anything else to say before we sign off?
There was the guy he fought near the beginning.
The son, the 17-year-old kid, are you talking about?
No. It was after that, because I remember when he was training, he beat up the guy's son, and then another guy came and beat him up. He beat up.
Whenever he was talking about his Mustang.
It's the guy that was originally going to go against the guy he fought at the end.
Yeah.
He's going to be in the sequel. He needs to be in the sequel.
You think so?
Yeah.
Do you think there will be a sequel, though?
Oh, yeah, there's going to be a sequel. A lot of people like this movie.
It did, yeah. It made money. It's got 92% on Rotten Tomatoes. So
if there's not a sequel, what a wasted opportunity.
Well, I mean, not every film needs a sequel, though. I feel like it's one of these things that would be.
Star Wars didn't need a sequel.
You're right. Well, I mean, Vader flew off. At the end, he was still alive. So, stay tuned for our Star Wars: The Force Awakens entire all Star Wars episode of the Film Fan Club show. It will be up on YouTube the weekend of December 18th. Probably on December 18th, because we're hopefully going to shoot it and then edit it, upload it all in a day. I did it all in a day. Love rap music. You can find me on the various social media sites at Samuel D. Carrico, where we can find you.
Twitter at Rickety_Rockety, Instagram at Rick Sosato. Yep.
Anything else?
Farewell.
Farewell. See you next time. Thanks for joining us. Stay in school.